Good day, my students. How was your day? My name is Mr. Uche Vincent Samuel. I'll be teaching you Biology 101, General Biology. The topic we're going to be treating today is cell structure and organization. Now, what is going to be our learning objective? Um, at the end of this lesson or lecture, we're going to know the meaning of cells and then know the types of cell, know the structural organization of cells, and then be able to differentiate between plants cell and animal cell. Now, first of all, let's find out what a cell is all about. What is a cell? A cell is a structural and fundamental unit of life. Fundamental unit of life. Now, the study of cell is and its organelles um, is what we call cellular biology. Now, cells are the building blocks of every living organism. It means that every living soul has a cell. So, in fact, if you are large, it means that you have millions of cells that make you up. Now, cells are the lowest unit of organization in every living form. Even though we have unicellular organisms, we also have multicellular organisms there. Now, it's a combination of so many cells that make up the eyes, that make up the nose, that make up the mouth, that make up the digestive system, and so on and so forth. So, for life to exist, cell must exist. For life to be in an individual, there must be life in the individual cells. Which means before you can say that someone has died, it means that each individual cells of that person has packed up. All right, let's now look at some types of cells. We have two major types of cells. First of all, the one we're going to treat now are called the prokaryotic cells. Prokaryotic cells, they do not have membrane-bound organelles. Organelles are the components inside the cells. Now, the genetic materials are freely suspended in the region called nucleoid. So it's not really membrane bound, so it flows to parts of the cells, but where it concentrates is the nucleoid. Now, the genetic hereditary materials could be RNA, ribonucleic acid, or DNA, deoxyribonucleic acid. They are single cells, usually bacteria, cyanobacteria, and archaea. They reproduce asexually, usually by binary fission. Sometimes they can exhibit certain conjugation, but that doesn't make them sexual. So basically, asexual reproduction, you can see the diagram of the anatomy of bacterial cell. You will see that there is no membrane that is bounding any of the internal structures or organelles you see in the bacteria. Now, on the flip side, we have another type of cell, which we call the eukaryotic cells. What are these eukaryotic cells? They are the membrane-bound, the cells that have the membrane-bound organelles. Examples are multicellular plants, protozoans, fungi, and animals. Even you and I will have eukaryotic cells because each of those organelles have a membrane bounding them. We find them in the plants, so find them in the animals. So they produce both sexually and asexually, depending on their level of organization. They are different between plants and animals. There are things that make them different from each other. Now, each organelles found in these cells has specific function that they deliver. All right, let's look at um, level of organization in cells. Now we say that cells comprises of three major parts. We have the cell membrane, which is the outward side that covers it, just like the gate that houses every other thing, the body that houses every other thing, more like the fencing, okay, that allows materials to move in and out of the cells. Now we have the nucleus. which is the where life is constituted, where genetic materials are constituted. Okay, they're also membrane bound for eukaryotic cells. Then we also have the cytoplasm, where the organelles are embedded, where they glide, they freely move in this cytoplasm. That's the liquid part of the cells. Then we look at the organization of the cells. We say that cells, when we organize similar cells that have a similar function, they constitute a tissue. Then when we organize similar tissues, we get organs. When we organize similar organs, we're going to get a system. And when we organize systems, we get an organism. Tissues, the nose tissues that are responsible for smelling. When we organize all the tissues, we're going to get an organ for smell, which is the nose, the tongue, okay, the heart pumping the blood, okay. But when we put together this heart, put together the arteries, the veins, okay, and the capillaries, which are individual organs, we're going to get a system we call circulatory system. We'll put together the one for digestion, we'll get what? Digestive system, okay. And then when we begin to bring all this system, digestive, reproductive, circulatory, put them together, we're going to come, we produce an organism. So an organism is an embodiment of so many cells performing different functions. All right, let's look at the plants uh, and then look at the animal cells. Now, the plant cells, if you notice, they have rigid cell structure. Okay, they have this green pigment, the chloroplast that allows photosynthetic activities. Okay, now the rigid cell wall, cellulose cell wall, allows it to have it touches a peculiar shape. We also see a central vacuole. A vacuole is very large. This is where the water stores and gives the plants the strength that it uses to perform. Okay, now the chloroplast, which is also a special components or organelle in the plant, allows for photosynthetic activities. Okay, so these are not the same in animals. So, but when we come to the animal cells, basically they don't have that cellulose cell wall. They don't have the chloroplast, but they have ribosome. Okay, for protein synthesis. They have endoplasmic reticulum and the rest of them. So, but in our next lesson, I'm going to be looking into the individual organelles that make up the cell. We're able to mention the functions of each of these um, organelles in the cell. Thank you for being part of this lesson. See you in the next lesson. See you in the next class. Bye bye.